WWE 13. We're here with what has become an annual interview with Brian Williams. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Just had some great interviews with the talent. You know, Paul Heyman,
good,
Mick Foley, AJ.
So you got all three?
I got all three.
Nice.
Heyman was a trip. I probably spent like 20 minutes with the guy.
Yeah, so you guys been talking for quite a while.
And we just started talking about various stuff, and he was very much, I guess, with his Paul Heyman. You know, he was kind of a trip to interview.
Yeah.
Talk about WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor. You know.
Oh, I'm envious of you, man.
Yeah. So WWE 13 for people who play this year in and year out. Can you maybe go over quickly some of the bigger changes?
Yeah, of course. Well, from top to bottom, I guess I'll start with gameplay. One of the big things, and we've made mention of this in the past when we first started the lead up to talking about W13, is the introduction of the spectacular moments, or the OMG moments. I'm sure people have seen video of the ring collapsing, being able to catch an opponent in midair, hit him with your finisher.
Yes.
Really, really cool stuff, by the way. That's my favorite of the spectacular moments.
Yeah, I saw that footage of like RKO in midair.
Yeah. Sweet shit music in midair to an opponent. Really, really cool stuff.
Can I get someone, like a Shelton Benjamin, obviously not in the game, but jump off the top rope, a moment I'm talking about, and Sean catches him in midair?
Yes, you can replicate that in this year's title.
Okay, very nice.
When we first started doing coming up with the concept for the catch finishers, that was the first thing that was in my head.
Yeah.
Everybody was thinking about, Orton's RKO, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for my money, when Shelton Benjamin did that springboard for Shawn Michaels and he just caught him, that has just resonated and stuck with me for so long. So yeah, I'm so happy to say you can create Shelton Benjamin in the game and recreate that moment in W13.
Yeah, and before the presentation earlier even started, the Quit match, I had that in my mind, Mankind Rock. Yeah. And then you guys showed it up there. Yeah, it was a trip for me too.
Yeah.
Like on the same wavelength or something.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you've been coming to these long enough. You know what we're thinking about.
Yeah. So how about Universe Mode, some of the changes this year?
Yeah, so the big change is Universe Mode, which is pretty much like the cornerstone of our game. Like once you get done with the Attitude Era, the single player campaign, a lot of players tend to spend most of their time in Universe. And the changes there that we've made are all on the customization side of things. Outside, of course, we added some new cutscenes and stories and whatnot, courtesy of Paul Heyman. He gave us some really great ideas.
Yeah.
But the big changes in Universe fans can expect to see are being able to customize your calendar completely. And by that, I mean being able to delete shows that are on the calendar by default. And the shows I'm referring to are Raw, Superstar, SmackDown, the pay-per-views. Players are able to not only delete these shows, they can then replace them with whatever shows they want to create on their own, as well as pay-per-views. Something that fans have been asking us to do for the past couple of iterations now, as far as Universe Mode improvements is concerned. So the really great thing about it is that, my universe compared to yours could be completely different. If you're so inclined to create and populate your universe full of your own creations, create your own shows, your own pay-per-views, you can do that. I'm more of just a strict WWE guy, so my calendar will probably look a little more like the current WWE calendar. But I think that's just one of those levels of customization that, and our game is so heavy with customization that we give the fans this year. We say, look, this is your game. Do with it as you wish. This is your WWE universe.
So you can create like Zack Ryder's internet title.
You could make that.
Is that belt in the game?
It is in the game.
Oh, is it okay?
Oh, of course. Of course. The Internet Championship is in the game.
Okay, so the thing that's going to sell a lot of people on this, at least longtime fans, is the Attitude Era. A lot of people are clamoring for a return of the Attitude Era. Obviously, it's the PG era right now as far as WWE is concerned. So can you maybe talk a little bit about the Attitude Era?
Yeah, the Attitude Era is our brand new single player campaign, replacing the old Road to WrestleMania mode, which we've used, which we had in the game for the past 3 iterations, I believe. We wanted to do something different this year. We wanted to think outside the box. Instead of us coming up with our own original stories, we thought, why not do something a little more historical? So we thought, what other period of wrestling is more revered than the Attitude Era in the minds of WWE fans and fans in general? So we came up with the idea of recreating some of the trauma, the high watermarks of the Attitude Era, and creating gameplay aspects around that. So players are able to experience the rise of D-Generation X, which is how the mode starts out. You play as you first start out seeing how D-Generation X formed, to the debut of Kane, to Stone Cold's rise to prominence, and The Rock. It's just a really nice trip down memory lane for those fans that remember watching it back in the late 90s, to maybe new fans who, the younger fans I'm specifically talking about, who may have heard reference to the Attitude Era on current programming, but aren't specifically familiar with it, personally. So this game, they'll be able to go in and experience that for themselves and find out what the big deal was.
So I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, so if it is, feel free not to answer.
Okay.
But you talk about Degeneration X, obviously many variations. So Shawn and Triple H, obviously, but then when they first started out, really briefly was also, like China.
Right.
And obviously Rick Rude for a real brief time. Can anyone expect to see any of those guys in there? Or?
Yeah, China does not make an appearance in the game this year, and neither does Rick Rude.
Okay.
Rick Rude was for a lot of points, like you said, he was in for such a brief period of time.
Yeah, a couple weeks maybe.
And really didn't factor into the time period that we were covering for our Attitude Era, retrospective. So those two, unfortunately, won't be there.
Yeah, I remember that one Monday. It was a trip back when Raw was pre-taped.
Yeah.
And Rude was on both Raw and Nitro on the same night.
Yes, I remember that also.
That one was a trip.
That was a trip. Only in the Attitude Era could you see something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so for longtime fans, you have a timeline, Monday Night Wars timeline. Can you talk about that maybe a little bit?
Yeah, so as you progress through the modes, we have just a timeline, and it shows the ratings battle between WCW and WWE. And you start to see, obviously, like during the Attitude Era, at the start of it at least, WCW was destroying WWF at the time, WWE. So as you play through the mode, along with all the great, gameplay elements and everything, you get to see how WWE slowly starts to kind of turn that corner and become a viable threat to WCW's primetime dominance. So that's what that timeline encapsulates.
Okay, and then in the matches, you have historical objectives you were talking about earlier. Can you maybe elaborate on that?
Yeah, so each match in Attitude Era has historical objectives, primary objectives. The primary objective is an objective that you'll need to complete in order to progress to the next match. And these aren't like what we did in last year's WrestleMania, where you spend all this time working a match only to find out that you're just going to lose it inevitably.
Yeah.
A lot of the primary conditions are all simple ones, like winning a match, making your opponent tap out a particular way. So nothing that really gets in the way of you actually playing the match and getting that victory for yourself. The bonus objectives, the historical objectives, are events and sequences that occurred during the actual matches in which we're basing the matches from, that aren't relevant to you progressing to the next match, but allows you to recreate pretty much exactly what actually happened in the match. And by doing that, you'll be able to unlock new superstars, new archive photos, just a ton of unlockable content. So I recommend everybody to try to complete all those objectives. You'll be well worth your time.
Can you briefly go into as well the off-script option in that? Yeah.
Off-script matches are unlocked doing these historical bonus objectives as well. And these off-script matches are not relevant to the story that we're telling, but they are relevant to the Attitude Era itself. And they're basically matches that either occurred on a pay-per-view that's not part of the story we're trying to cover, but it was another event that also occurred. And we have a little backstory about that. So just little fun diversions that also will give you the ability to unlock new superstars.
And you said something like 60 plus matches, correct, in the Attitude Era?
There's roughly about 60 plus matches, not including the off-script matches.
Okay.
It's quite a bit. It's definitely going to keep you busy.
And you were talking about earlier WWE exclusive videos on the game?
The WWE produced 20 exclusive videos for not every match, but I will say maybe every other match. There's like a video package that precedes the match that you're about to play, which sets up the events. We have text and list that brings up to speed, but WWE produced these really cool videos from the archive footage that kind of sums up the events that you're about to participate in. And you can go back and watch those through the viewer that we have in the game as well. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, I remember that as being one of my favorite aspects of All-Stars a year and a half or so ago.
With those video packages.
With those dream packages, with CM Punk and Stone Cold, how they cut that together was so amazing.
Yeah. They did another fantastic job for WWE 13.
Okay, now the new audio this year.
Yeah.
They were talking about how. So let me see if I heard this right. You got actual crowd audio.
Well, what it is that we used for certain crowd chants in the game. We got stems from actual live events. We got a lot of crowd chants. For example, I'm not sure if you remember the episode of Raw right after WrestleMania.
I was there.
You were there?
Raw. Yeah.
can I just bow in front of you right now because you guys were amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing crowd that night. So we got a lot of good chants from that episode that we got from programming and infuse that into the game this year. So chants of CM Punk, Cena sucks.
Yes.
Yes, chants. We have all that in the game this year. That's all taken from programming. We didn't fake it. We didn't hire a bunch of people that come sit in a warehouse and do these chants. We got that all from live WWE broadcast.
Yeah, as a fan of about 20 years or so, I don't think I've ever attended an event quite like that.
Oh, it was great. That was such a hot crowd.
It was. It really was. And the We Want Brock chants.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the music hit, it was insane. Yeah. It was like, what's that I was saying, blew the roof off the arena, type of thing.
I can only imagine. I mean, because it was so raucous watching it on TV. I can only imagine like being there live.
And then they were, standing in the ring, and he hits the F5, and everyone explodes again. Yeah. And actually, Brock's music is playing in the background right now, fittingly enough.
Because that needs better.
Yeah. It was just really amazing. And I was asking AJ about it, what she was thinking when that was going on, and no one could believe what was going on. The fans were so defiant.
Yeah.
Like, obviously Vince wanted us, to kind of root for Sheamus.
Right.
And it pissed a lot of people off, that 18-second match at WrestleMania.
That went a long way towards solidifying Daniel Bryan as the superstar that he is.
I mean, I was surprised because I was able to go to WrestleMania as well. Walking into that stadium, there was a lot of yes chants. Yeah. Not near as mad as like what it is today. But I was surprised at how many fans there were. But then, once they did that, totally blew up. At Raw. Then the main event dark match. When the wrestlers, they don't have to worry about the camera recording every movement. They were just in awe.
What was the dark match then?
I think it was some tag match. I think it was like Orton and Big Show, and Daniel Bryan was in it.
Oh, okay.
And someone else. But it was just, you could see Orton, those guys just looking around in the crowd. They were in amazement at what was going on.
Great.
Everyone was chanting, yes.
If only every episode of Raw could have a crowd that.
Right, and I don't know, the videos made its round on YouTube where Daniel Bryan was talking to the crowd afterwards.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it on YouTube actually. Yeah.
Where he was thanking him for everything and saying how I think we forced them to make a new shirt for him.
Yep. Which we did.
Yeah, and then afterwards, as everyone was filing out to the arena, everyone was chanting yes. And then even
it's the most unlikely chant ever.
Spilling out into the streets of Miami, people were still chanting it. And if you're not a fan, right, you're probably thinking, what is wrong with those people,
Yeah. Like, what the hell is going on with this?
So what's more unlikely, yes or what? See, because they both are basically the same thing.
Yeah.
They both were introduced by heels that were trying to get under the skin of the crowd, and the crowd just embraced it. And then
I think probably the yes chance.
Yeah.
Only because I don't know. I think when Stone Cold started the what chance, he was pretty solidified.
For the brief period, they tried to make him a heel.
A heel, yeah.
And the fans wouldn't have anything of it.
Exactly.
It's kind of like when they tried to do that to Eddie, and the fans wouldn't allow it to happen.
Yeah, I think the yes chance. I love that yes chance.
Now, you said earlier in the presentation there's 115 unlockables in the game?
Yeah.
So can you go over maybe a couple of those, or what fans can expect?
We've got a ton, boy. Let's just walk through some right here. We got the game up. We have a ton of championship titles that players can unlock. Superstars, of course. Let's see. So we got a whole bunch of superstars that players can unlock. We're looking at Booker T's face right here. John Laurinaitis is playable this year.
People power.
It lives in WWE 13. A whole bunch of new arenas, a lot of Attitude Era arenas. What else we got? Like I said, the championships. We have so many new championships that we've added this year.
Okay. I see the hardcore with the masking tape right there, the hardcore title.
Of course, that's in here. The Cruiserweight Championship is in here for those Cruiserweight fans.
Yeah.
New attires. We've got Old School Kane, of course, with his debut. The Rock in his workout attire.
Is that Undertaker with a Kane mask?
That is. And then these bonus matches, these are from the off-script match from Attitude Era. Okay. So you got a whole bunch of stuff to unlock from there. These feuds packs, which are new feuds you could add to the universe mode. So just a lot of unlockers this year. Oh, sorry.
You briefly mentioned the online and how it's better this year. I guess some server issues with WWE 12.
Yeah, we have the server issues that unfortunately we have to experience. continuing to work not only with the servers for 12, which have gotten a whole lot better this year, but taking what we've learned for 12 and moving forward with 13 and making sure that we don't make the same mistakes twice.
So obviously CM Punk on the cover. I think I heard you mention it at the SummerSlam event.
Yeah.
Was it like, picking someone that far out? Someone's hot in December, January, whatever. They're not necessarily hot in October.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Punk still is.
He's maintained
he
his
switched allegiances, so to speak.
Yeah.
The crowd turning on him, as he likes to say.
Yeah.
But how has that been? Are there kind of like any nail-biting moments, or?
There were a few.
Yeah.
There were a few. I'm not even gonna lie to you because it's like, at the time it's like, of course, CM Punk was the hottest thing, but thankfully he's maintained his heat and he's still.
Yeah, and now he has Heyman too.
And now he's got Heyman, and he's still the champ. 300 and maybe 16.
Today would be 18. I think.
18 days.
I think on Monday he was saying 316.
That's right,
which was awesome because he was talking about Austin.
About Austin.
I love that. I love when they tie in stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The checklist system during the matches. Can you briefly talk about that?
Which system?
The checklist. For the objectives.
And the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
So it's like as I mentioned before, the Attitude Era matches has a series of objectives that you must complete in order to proceed. The primary and then the historical bonus objectives. And we just want to make it easier on the players so that they don't have to constantly pause and get into some other sub menu to find out what their checklist, what their things that they need to do to accomplish to proceed. So we have this checklist that appears in the corner of the screen, and you can collapse at any point in time by pressing the back button if it gets in the way at all. But it's just a nice way just for you to quickly view and get access to what it is that you need to do to progress and win the match.
Okay, you briefly mentioned earlier you can upload DLC content with the creations this year?
You can. If you have the fan access package or deal, you can now, if you have that fan access on your system, you can participate and download content that is involved with, that has DLC attached to it. But it's only for, if you have that fan access.
Do you have a favorite maybe community creation maybe with WWE 12? Or I know a lot of people, myself included, maybe they search for, like an AJ Styles or a Samoa Joe.
AJ Styles has got to be one of the most creative and downloaded guys.
Well, I mean,
there's so many good AJ Styles.
I know people would love to see him in WWE at some point. Him and CM Punk, they could tear the house down,
Imagine?
Yeah.
Oh. He seems pretty stuck in TNA. Not stuck, wrong word to use. But he seems pretty loyal to TNA. I don't know if we'll ever see him in WWE. But I've downloaded quite a bit of really good content. I wish I remembered the names of the guys so I give them credit. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of the fans, I go to community creation to download guys that aren't in the game or that work for other promotions, whether it's Chris Hero, who now is in WWE. I've downloaded my fair share of AJ Styles as well. Bully Ray, I saw really good Bully Ray up there.
Yeah.
Big fan of Bully Ray.
Well, I know Bully's contract, I think, expires in the very near future.
I actually just read that he signed.
Oh, did he sign with TNA? Oh, did he really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess squash that, because I know Devon's gone.
Yeah,
and I know people
Devon's
were hoping for a Dudley reunion.
Yeah. He's doing good at TNA, though. I think he probably stay where he's at. I think he has a good opportunity to win their championship.
Capzilla.
Yeah.
On his Twitter machine.
His fire-breathing Twitter machine.
Okay, and then introduce, I think it's a new feature this year, OMG, the spectacular moments.
Right.
Can maybe go into maybe what those are, maybe a couple of them off the top of your head?
Yeah, those were the catch finishers, being able to destroy the ring. A lot of these events are triggered by having a store finisher icon. For example, in order to do a catch finisher, you have to have a finisher icon in your possession at the time that the opponent performs a springboard attack or a top rope dive attack on you. And it's a time sequence where if you time it right and press the finisher button, you'll be able to catch him in midair, hit him with your finisher, and potentially win the match. There's also being able to destroy the barricade, or put an opponent through the barricade, which is also performed simply by R-tripping the opponent into that corner and approaching them. And as so long as you have that store finisher icon, you'll see the OMG prompt on the screen. Press the Y button, or the finisher button, and you can ram them through the barricade, put them through the announce table. That's back, brand new this year. You can now stand on the announce table and do moves.
And you can do finishers too, right? Like an RKO or a pedigree. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The announce table finishers and the catch finishers are my favorite move. Spectacular moments or OMG moments. I love them.
Okay, so obviously WWE 13 for the 360, for the PS3. Have you guys looked at any Wii U type of prospects?
You know, we've had discussions about it, you know, internally.
Maybe what you could do with what you could do with the gamepad.
With that controller there.
Yeah.
We've had, you know, we've been brainstorming some things.
Or maybe hold off until next year's version, or
what's that?
Maybe hold off until next year's version.
Potentially.
Get a good understanding of the hardware. And
yeah, that's one of those decisions that's made above me. It's like, don't tell me what platforms we're working on, and then I say, okay, well, let me get my.
Well, it has to be a tough decision, right? Because like Madden's coming out on the Wii U, but it's such a scaled down version this year. They don't have, you know, they've been touting the Infinity engine, right?
Yeah, right.
But the Wii U version, I don't think has that.
Yeah.
And so it's probably a tough decision. You want to give like a lesser than product, or maybe wait until the next year and.
Yeah. That's always a part of it. You know, you want to give the fans the.
You want to try to be there on day one for sales, but maybe not sacrificing your brand.
Exactly.
That
burning goodwill with the fans. You know, that's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah. Okay, so then I guess. Any leaving thoughts for our readers, maybe the release date and everything like that?
The only thoughts that I'd like to leave people with is just that everyone on the team has been worked tremendous amount of hours, a lot of time and dedication and passion has gone into WWE 13 this year, like it does every year.
Yeah.
But we learned from our mistakes in 12. I know there was a lot of grumbling about the online issues. We're hoping that is not the case this year any longer. And we're all just very proud of the work that we've done. I'm proud of Ukes, the developer. I think they've done a fantastic job this year. And I just can't wait for our release date, which is October 30th. The game will be out, Xbox 360 and Nintendo Wii and PS3.
Okay, I lied. One more question.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever considered, like a beta test? Like some shooters tend to do, stuff like that, to maybe try to iron out the online kinks, so to speak?
Yeah. It's been talked about.
Yeah.
It's been talked about, but again, those decisions are made above me, but it has been discussed previously. Yeah.
All right.
Maybe one day in the future soon we'll have one of those.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much.
It will be very beneficial.
Yeah. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Always, man.